The Anatomy of Life podcast is where we delve into the elements that shape our existence. This is your audio guide on all the building blocks of your life: relationships, purpose, your mind, body, and everything in between. Because at the core of it all is health, the foundation that shapes how we live, we grow, and thrive. On the AOL today, I'm taking you behind the gym curtain and inside the life of a personal trainer. Today's guest is certified by the UK SCA, recently trained and certified in Stott Pilates, and holds a Bachelor of Science with honors. She is the lovely Amanda Horn, a PT with a method that isn't just about building bodies. It's about creating functional, resilient, and confident individuals. Amanda shares powerful workouts, expert tips on posture and spine health on her socials with the kind of motivational content that gets you moving even on your off days. Amanda brings not just expertise, but a grounded and empowering perspective on what it means to train for life, not just aesthetics. Welcome to the AOL, Amanda. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to get right into it and get the audience to get to know you. Who is Amanda? Where are you from? And how long have you been in Doha? And what do you currently do for a living?
I'm from Newcastle upon Tyne, which is in like the northeast of England. I've been in Doha for 8.5 years now. I was initially coming for 3 months and then standard Doha story. I'm still here almost 9 years later. Before that, I worked in the UK, France, Spain, Italy, and on the super yachts as a VIP trainer. And then here I work as a personal trainer for a private family and also freelance. And currently I'm setting up a new Reformer Pilates studio in the city centre.
What got you into personal training and what does a typical day look like for you from wake up to wind down?
So I've been a personal trainer for 21 years now. It's literally been like my whole career. I was initially going down the route to be a doctor, as in my school in the UK, everyone either became like a doctor, a dentist, or a lawyer. But then I had a nasty horse riding accident when I was 18 and damaged my pelvis. And it was like actually a strength and conditioning coach who helped me get back on my feet. And then from there, I made my decision that this was the route I was going to go down. With regards to my day, my standard day is waking up at 4:30 or 5, getting ready super quick, making a cup of tea to go. Like I literally can't survive the day without a cup of tea in the morning. Everyone knows this. Then driving to my first client for 6 a.m. and then I have back-to-back sessions normally until around 9:30. Then I've got an hour to train myself, which if I didn't have, I couldn't manage. Then a quick 15 minutes to shower, straight back to work. My days are pretty hectic. I eat on the go and I'm usually non-stop until around 6 or 7 at night. But I genuinely do love my job and all my clients, so I wouldn't change it.
You were talking about your workouts. You said that you need that hour in your day. How do you structure your own workouts while training others all day?
My workouts are one of the most important days, like and most important parts of my day. They keep me sane and able to maintain being nice to people all day. It's just like a release, right? I always think you have to give yourself and your body like the time and attention that you're giving to others. I'm super pushed for time, so I train 4 times a week on work days, and my sessions are like 45 minutes to an hour. I stick with strength work on these days so that I'm not super tired for the rest of the day. And if I'm extra tight on time, I might change it for a quick 5K run in the morning before work, just because obviously you can squeeze it in. You don't have to wait for the gym to be open. But my favorite day to train is Friday because I don't rush my training. My session's a bit longer and I get a WOD in there to get some more cardio in. And normally because the gym is super quiet and peaceful.
I don't know what it is about personal trainers, but we get into a zone, right? Like
Yeah.
whenever you're training, you want quiet. Or I have music in my ears, but I just don't want the distraction. What about your routine will most people be surprised by?
Maybe the fact I don't drink coffee. I was super shocked by this. But
Mm.
also maybe the fact that I don't have much time off to chill through the day. Because I think a lot of people have this perception that trainers here, they wake up, have a few clients, and then they talk and chill all day, they go to the beach, and then they end the day with a few more clients. Whereas in the reality, if you're a good trainer in Doha, you're running around stuck in traffic, you've got little time to yourself, you're eating on the go, and then when your day ends, you've got
You
like
crash.
zero social battery, like for anything else.
And this is something that people don't understand is I constantly get invites, let's go for drinks. And I'm like, on a Tuesday night? Are you insane?
Yeah,
Like,
school night.
it's a
No.
school night. Like, there is no way. Do you wake up at 4? I'm like, there's no way. And people find it funny because they say, who's training at 4? I'm like, that hour's for me to get ready to go to the client. My first client's at 5 and it's nonstop. When you see me sitting down, know that that is a precious time
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's very rare. So if you see me sitting down, know it's so rare. Speaking of our hectic schedules, have you ever wanted to quit? And if so, what kept you going through that?
This is the
So,
thing with all my friends, like
yeah.
everyone who I hang out with know that my time is so precious, but I also really cherish it. So I won't give it to so many. I spend my weekends and my evenings just with people that I'm really close to and really enjoy their company, and give me something back. I mean, I'm a super determined person. I didn't come from very much at home, and I always wanted to do well for myself. I was brought up with the values that if you work hard enough, anything is possible. And to be honest, that's always stuck with me.
Mm.
But yes, for sure, there have been numerous times when I wanted to quit. Times when you wake up at 4 a.m. and lasting till the end of the day seems impossible. But also times when like my personal life was falling apart and you have to put a brave face on, go to work, laugh, joke, and just pretend like everything's fine. Also listen to other people's problems when inside you're dying.
That's so hard because it's a glamorous looking job. People forget we're human. And
Yeah.
behind the human, we have lives. We have things going on in our lives. We're not always at our best. We have to show up. We have to be the best versions of ourselves for you. So when your trainer takes time off, just give them support. And
Yeah.
that's so true. I had to start to understand myself because when I wanted to quit too, it was usually on the days where I had to put on the brave face and then you got to listen to this person because it's like a therapy session for your clients.
Yeah.
And I love that for them. But there's certain days where I couldn't hold the space, not even for myself.
Yeah.
And so it's important that trainers are starting to understand themselves, know when your downtime is, like you were saying on the weekend, only the most valuable people in your circle. And I get this all the time. They're like, you don't want to go out, you don't want to go down. It's not that. It's just that I'm replenishing and I'm taking the time to bring that energy back to myself.
It's hard, isn't it? Because also people don't realize that we need that time. We need to
Yeah.
talk to people about our things. If you don't have that time, the next week you're going to be struggling. And it
Yeah.
just really happens really, really fast. I find this also with clients, something that maybe you experience as well. People message me, which is great. Like I love to keep in contact, but it's if I don't reply, it's like a constant barrage of messages
Yes.
about something that they need, which is fine. But I'm driving or coaching and
Mhm.
I also need to eat and then
Do you put boundaries in place when it comes to texting?
try, but it's very difficult.
It's very difficult. I've only started learning the boundary thing. And it's not that I'm not going to answer, I will answer. But usually from Thursday night to Saturday morning, I'm not around. I will do my best to be around for you, but that's my time for my husband. That's my time for me. But I think as well over the years, maybe you can relate to this. Over the years, I've curated my client list. So where clients think, oh, I just get to find my personal trainer, I have 5 clients too.
Same.
It's like I'm just like if we cannot have a professional rapport, I'm not going to waste your time or my time. And I'm a professional. I'm coming with these certain requirements of myself and of you. So let's just stick to those boundaries because you wouldn't want me messaging you on a Friday at like 6 a.m. in the morning. Make sure you're training on Sunday. We know our times, blah, 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 blah. And I expect them to be with their families over the weekend. I've started to learn that. And in the last 3 years, I've separated it to hold the
Trainer.
boundary,
So
consistency, and also discipline.
and it does take time and
It
it
does.
takes confidence in yourself, I think,
Yes.
to be honest.
To
And I think as well for me, like you're spending so much time with if for example you clash personality wise, it's not healthy for either of you. Whether you're a great trainer or not, they're not going to get the best out of the session anyway. I'm pretty strict as a trainer. A lot of people tell me that initially when they come to train with me compared to other trainers because like I've got a high expectation for myself and I expect that of my clients. For example, something that really annoys me, like everyone will tell you, oh, don't straighten the arms. And like I might say it like 8 times in a row over a set of 8 reps. I'll be
Yeah.
like,
Straighten your arms, straighten your arms.
literally nonstop. It drives me crazy. I'm super strict with form, super strict with turning up. Like I don't like people who miss sessions. Adherence is what creates like mastery in the gym. And it's gonna what's gonna help you reach your goals. It's respect for
It's
yourself,
yourself.
respect for my time as a coach. So these are things you learn as you age as a trainer, I think, but also for me personally, I feel it's as I grew in confidence in myself rather than just as a trainer. Yeah.
What's something clients think they need, but actually don't need?
I think clients usually think they need everything apart from what they actually need. People, especially nowadays, they want these exciting looking workouts that are on Instagram that have been made to look like they're going to give you like the perfect ass, the snatched waist, as people say. When in fact, the person promoting them, they didn't even do those workouts at all. But people find it difficult to buy into the fact that like the optimum programming consists of super basic movements done repetitively for weeks and weeks and weeks on end.
I say this often to clients. I'm like, you do not have to be fancy. Keep it simple, keep it consistent, and that's where you're going to see the results.
And I feel like good programming as a trainer is a bit like a mum trying to hide vegetables in a kid's food. Trying to mix it up as much as we can. So here's like a nice little
I'm going to package it for you.
Yeah. But like really, you're still doing lunch. You're just trying to keep it exciting as much as possible. But when people come to me with this video on their phone and like, can we do this? And it looks more like a Chinese dance.
What's one popular trend like detox teas or something similar to that that drives you crazy?
I know this straight away. I would say it's like the 12-3-30 treadmill workout. So for anyone who doesn't know, it's setting the treadmill to 12% incline at a speed of 3 miles per hour and walking for 30 minutes. So this drives me crazy because people are considering it like the holy grail of fat loss and they think it's like a precise equation that must be followed in order to magically lose weight. But it's not a magic number. Whereas in reality, if we just told people to walk for 30 minutes, no set incline, no set speed, they would probably lose exactly the same amount of body fat. You know, it's just not as sexy for marketing. And this is the whole of the fitness industry. And this is what really annoys me. It's just hugely marketing these like lovely, sexy, aesthetic pictures of people in a grungy gym training, mostly with their tops off, you know, looking great. And the reality is they're posing for those steroids and mostly, you know, like it's scary the amount of Photoshop like these that's used nowadays.
Have you ever felt pressured to look or act a certain way being a personal trainer?
I mean, I feel like any trainer who says I haven't felt pressured to look a certain way, the fitness industry has totally contorted people's views of health. So people perceive being super lean with visible abs as like the standard for wellness nowadays, which it's definitely not the case. And especially here in Doha, image and social media counts for a lot, you know? I mean, for me, I could be thinner, I could be leaner. I do think about it, but genuinely, I'm happy as I am. And I'm super strong at this weight. I'm also fast at my running and I can pretty much do anything. Whereas if I lost just a few percent body fat, my strength might diminish. And also my quality of life with my friends, things I really enjoy, things I can eat without thinking. I mean, as we were talking about last week, like I generally don't even really think so much about how I eat. And I would lose the beauty of that.
So we were talking about the way that we look in the fitness industry. When it comes to gym influencers, what are some red flags people should watch for in fitness influencers or online trainers?
Let's start the list. But for me, it's probably people who post workouts and preach that this is what made them look a certain way, when it definitely isn't. So, for example, of this, all the glute workouts where the trainer has huge glutes and is claiming it's from a booty band. Like you and I both know, like a booty band is not going to grow someone's glutes. But also influencers who post their nutrition like saying that helped them get a certain physique. Most of them have taken something to get that lean, whether that be fat burners, clenbuterol, some kind of steroids. Even women
do it more often than people realize.
And by doing this, they're creating like a really skewed and unrealistic version of the norm. And it's really worrying, to be honest. But I think personally, the thing I hate the most, even more than gym influencers, are trainers here who call themselves trainers just because they've recently dieted and trained and got in shape. Either that or they've done a weekend personal trainer course and now start preaching, this is what I do. And it's like, okay, but you've done it for yourself or for like the last week. They also undercharge their services, which is because they haven't spent years on their education, but then they devalue the service for us. And then also I've got a lot of clients from this kind of trainer where people get injuries from training and I've got to fix them. Just because someone looks good and is good at social media marketing, it's not an indication of their knowledge. But here, nobody really cares about that. And no one even asks me if I'm a qualified personal trainer. And I constantly take myself on courses. For me, it's because I'm registered in the UK. We have to like get 40 CPD points a year to stay at a certain level. And so I need to do that many courses. But like, there should be something like this here. Luckily now with Pilates, there is a register.
You can tell who's not certified. I've been to a couple of classes and I'm like, wow, they weren't vetted. That's not a Pilates move. That's not classical. Like you can tell just certain things. And I started saying in my group classes, I'm like, if you are doing a jumping jack in Pilates, it is not Pilates. Which brings me to, how do you think social media is affecting people's relationship with their bodies and fitness? Because we've just spoken about what we see on social media.
Yeah, I mean, this definitely runs on from the last question. Social media has now like created such an unrealistic norm. Influencers photoshopping and filtering all of their
Filtering.
posts to death, and people assume that's the reality, unfortunately. And then this just sets people up for failure with their goals before they even start. So they set off on like a health and fitness mission, and a lot of them end up giving up quickly because they feel like they're not reaching these unrealistic ideals. And then nowadays, I feel like people are turning to drugs like Ozempic and Manjaro to achieve their goals faster with or without putting in the work. And I do think these drugs have their place, but definitely not with the way they're being used in many places, especially here
Abused.
right now. And again, this is another area of fitness where people don't have all the correct information and they're not utilizing the drugs correctly, especially with Ozempic and Manjaro. People should be training super hard when using the drugs to ensure like the weight they are losing is coming mainly from fat and not just muscle. And the people who are using these drugs don't have a lot of muscle to start with. That's just super, super dangerous.
Yeah.
But also another problem on social media I find is people claiming they're natural when in fact they've had surgeries. So like I know even trainers here as well who've had lipo, BBL,
Yeah.
fat transfer, and they claim that it's all natural. But I mean, like as a trainer, I can look and because fat moves in a certain way with exercises around the glutes and you can tell when it doesn't move properly. But again, this is just creating unrealistic norms and it's making it so much harder for real trainers who are trying to project like a healthy image, healthy lifestyle.
Both you and I, we love to read books, and you've read a book that I haven't yet. It's the book Surrounded by Idiots.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what the book is about and what drew you to read this book? I feel this is a significant book specifically for personal trainers to read. I think it'll just change their coaching style.
I mean, I love this book. I love psychology and learning about human behavior and why we act certain ways. I just find it really helps me understand people in general and feel more comfortable myself. But it also is super interesting for work, seeing as like we're interacting with people all day. So basically, the book it's written by Thomas Erickson. It categorizes human behavior and personalities into 4 different groups: red, yellow, green, and blue, each showing very different traits. For example, a red person is very high energy, very driven. They like everything done very quickly and they get irritated very quickly.
Oh.
For example, then someone blue, they're super, super organized, but they don't like to socialize. They're quite introverted and they don't like to drift away from the plan. So each person has different characteristics, but most people don't like solely fit into one color category, but are a mixture of 2 colors. And then some people, but it's only a few, are a mix of 3. But honestly, it's definitely a helpful book as a coach. It breaks everything down for you and it explains how it's best to communicate with people who fit into certain categories, etc., and what motivates them, which obviously helps like us with their training.
When you read the book, and I think you said you were a bit of red, what color did you immediately identify with when you read it?
I'm definitely a good mixture of red and yellow. So red is someone who's like super motivated, does everything extremely quickly. And like I get super irritated when people are slow. If they don't get to the point quickly, if they're not driven, and like if they go round and round in circles about certain topics, this frustrates me to death. But then like the yellow part of me also loves to be around people. Like I love people. I love telling, listening to stories. I like to hear information about people. I really thrive off being in like a positive energy environment. But I like my people. Like it takes me a while to warm to like a certain person and then when I feel like I get them or they get me and then I have time for people.
Was there a wow moment when you were reading this book?
I would probably say that moment for me was reading what I recognized in myself. So I used to really struggle with why I thought everyone was slow. So like at one point recently I thought I had ADHD because I do everything so quickly and expect that of others. But then I realized like my mind is super focused all the time. So I definitely don't have ADHD. But then I read this book and I was like, oh my God, that's me. I'm just a very, very red character, especially when it comes to my work. Like I like facts. I like to know exactly what I'm doing. I will put everything into what I'm doing and I just don't understand what others don't. But it's actually really helped me calm down a bit and like deal with this with other people. Because until then I didn't realize why I was like doing all these. But I also think it's our job because at certain times and we know and we're always on a schedule. So like if people are taking extra time from us, we're like,
I've got to move. Can you think of a client that once you understood their color, everything just clicked?
So I wouldn't say there's like one particular client, but I definitely think it helps me coach better having read a book because I understand what motivates people more. And I think I've always been a bit of a social chameleon anyway since I was young. So that's something that's definitely helped me progress so quickly with coaching. Like I always am like pretty good at changing my personality, even just slightly to deal with different
Yeah.
characteristics.
What's your proudest moment with the clients?
Honestly, I've had so many, and first getting to see someone train right up until the end of their pregnancy and keeping super fit, to reversing someone's diabetes, fixing their knee pain, getting them relief from back pain, to getting them the dream shape for their wedding. All of these are super precious moments, and I don't feel like you can narrow it down to.
What are the biggest misconceptions about personal trainers?
And there's definitely a few.
Okay.
I think for me that all personal trainers just naturally love going to the gym every day and find all exercises super easy. Another thing that people think is that personal trainers never have any issues or injuries and we're just fun and energetic all the time and that our job is super fun and we just jump around to music and we have the best time ever. But I think it's just people who become trainers, we're naturally normally quite outgoing. People perceive us as we're full of energy and stuff, but it's actually just our character.
Yeah.
Have you seen me spaced out in front of the TV, not watching the TV? You know, I'm not on.
How do you handle burnout or mental fatigue from always being on?
This is my biggest problem as a trainer. I'm very empathetic by nature, so I feel like I take on a lot of people's stress and problems that I hear about over the day. And it often leaves me burnt out. And just also from working long hours and all the hours that other people have off to socialize,
Yeah.
we don't get to see our friends and offload as much. And this is difficult. Like for me, my hours training in the day is what keeps me sane. But also, like driving in between clients, I rarely listen to music or anything because I just decompress in that time. People think I'm a weirdo. I just literally sit there in silence for the drive.
If you could change one thing about the fitness industry, what would it be?
I definitely know my answer to this straight away. In Qatar, it would be that there's a register for personal trainers, to be honest, so that we can check if they have qualifications.
We can
and
regulate them.
because it's so bad. In the UK, we have reps, which is like the register of exercise professionals, and trainers pay to be on there. So say I came as a client to you, I can just go on the computer, go on the reps website,
Look up.
type in Lexi, and then
Yeah.
I can be like, oh, yes. So then I can be like, oh, Lexi's on here. She is a level 3 in this. She told me she was level 4. She's live. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? This
yeah.
kind of thing. And it's great. And then basically it's all tracked on there. And the company who's providing the CPD points, so your professional development points, it has to be registered with reps also. I would say it was this, to be honest, because here there's so many problems from people without bad trainers, and I feel they give us such a bad reputation.
What's the hardest lesson you've learned through this career? Gosh, I've got many.
I mean, for me, it's probably just that you can't help everyone. You can put all your effort and attention into someone, write them the best program, deliver them the best sessions, and still they're not going to achieve their goals. That's just because of the effort they won't put in rather than the effort you won't put in. And also that you also can't please everyone. It doesn't matter what you do for some people, you're still not going to be enough. I had a prime example. I had a client who used to have a trainer and she left and she went back home. And every session she would compare me like, oh, I didn't used to do this with my last trainer. Oh, I did this with my last trainer. Oh no, she didn't tell me to do it like this with my last trainer. And it got to the point where I was like, look, I just don't think we should be working together because this isn't healthy for me. And then she was like, oh no, but I love your way so much better. People don't realize we don't get feedback.
What happened with that client?
She's actually one of my best clients.
Oh, I've had clients leave, and not from me, but they've left for like certain things. They come back and they immediately come back. You know, they're like, I've had to leave the country for this long, or I've had to do that. And then our bond is stronger the second time round. What do you wish people knew before ever stepping into a gym?
That nobody in the gym is watching you or caring what you are doing. Because everyone is so solely focused on themselves and they're worrying actually about what you are thinking of them. Even as a trainer, genuinely going into a new gym, I'm like, oh my God, that man's staring at me. What's he doing? And then that man thinks that I'm like judging his form or whatever, thinking he's lifting too light when really I'm like, oh, you know, what is he thinking?
If you had to give one piece of advice to new trainers about managing different personalities, what would it be?
I think if you're coming into the personal training industry thinking it's an easy job, just socializing and training with people all day, then you're very wrong and you're probably entering the wrong career. Being a trainer is like super hard. It's extremely emotionally demanding and draining. And you are so many things to so many different people. You have to be able to wear all of those hats across the day. So to someone, I'm fun, motivating Amanda. To another person, I'm someone they can talk to privately about things they've got going on. Someone else vents to me about work. Someone else's son is sick and they're worried. Someone is new to Qatar and is struggling and needs help and advice. And all of this is when I'm swallowing my thoughts and feelings about my day. The fact I woke up at 4 a.m., the fact that my mum is sick with the flu at the minute, I want to speak to her, the fact that I have other things in my personal life going on, and all of this is going on at the same time, when you have to remember at the end of the day, that hour session is for your clients. And then you finish work and you're super drained. You go straight to sleep because you're tired, and you don't discuss or process any of your thoughts or feelings. And they build up, build up, build up. And then obviously you have the weekend to let off steam.
I'm coming to my final question. This is my favorite question. I believe we each have an impact on the lives we touch, often in ways we can't see directly. So as we wrap up, I'd love to know, what's one unseen or invisible impact you hope to leave behind, not just from our conversation today, but in your life's work?
I would say it's probably always to take every opportunity that comes along, even if that means working out what to do with that opportunity later on. So for me, I never expected to come to the Middle East. I'd spent my life coaching in the UK and Europe. When I got offered the opportunity, I said yes, I always have done. And then you never know where these things are going to take you. Look where I am now. But I think always with a bit of grit and determination, you can go a long way. And I think that would be my main takeaway, would just be take whatever opportunities come your way.
Amanda, thank you so much for taking of your time. I know it's precious time, your energy, your knowledge, and everything in between to be on the AOL today. And I hope that in the future I have you back.
Thank you so much.
That's it for today's episode of the Anatomy of Life podcast. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. It helps others find the show. You can listen to the Anatomy of Life on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. This show was produced by me, Lexi, with music from Artlist.io. Thank you for listening, and as always, here is to your health.